But, you know, we're not talking about fucking politics and shit like that. Alright? We're talking about fucking Amazing Grace. That's a shit transition. But it's better than nothing. And maybe this time Dexter will remember to switch the game.
Amazing Grace.
Jesus. Time for Amazing Grace. Yes. Anyway, last time we played through Amazing Grace, it was a lot of Guido and Kotoha back and forth, where they talked it out, right, and came to an understanding that he doesn't need to blow up the town. So instead of doing that, he decides to blow up himself. But before that happens, who would have guessed, but Sayaka finally pops her head out of the fucking mole hole and decides to bring herself back into the story. But wrong category, yeah. And finally decided to show up again. Since this is basically her route, part 2. Dexter. And drop a bomb herself. Yep. Drop a Baka nuke herself. But, either way, while Dexter tries to figure out how English works, let's don the appropriate attire. You know what? I think I'll just do it myself. Well, anyway, let's jump right into it, shall we? Jump back into it, and maybe we'll finish the game this time. Oh yeah, fuck the bitrate is fucked. It's so quiet on this holy night that you can hear the sound of the snow falling on the ground. Everyone present freezes in dumbfounded surprise at the unexpected newcomer. One person's hand stopped moving. One is struck in with wonder, and one is honestly delighted. The silence is seemingly endless. He suddenly breaks the silence, acting as if she was sitting down to eat dinner.
久しぶりに外の空気を吸いました。冷たいですね。
The sound of her voice breaks the three from their spell, bringing sense to the nonsensical. She has come back.
Sakuya. お前、地下にいたはずじゃ。
Yeah, what the fuck have you been doing, like, this past month?
なんか、すごい身のこなしで無理やり入ってきた方がいまして、映画では拝見していましたが、実際にお会いするのは初めてでしたね。
I may gift you the VN in advance through Steam Wallet. What?
ご丁寧に教えてくれたんですよ。こんなところにいなくても、地上は無事だからって。
Sakuya explains how she came to be here while simultaneously sensing somehow that the apocalypse has ended in failure. Everyone's attention centers on her.
それで、お前は出てきたと。
She's. Never mind. I was gonna turn that into a coming out of the closet joke.
今回どうなるかはわからなかったので、地下に閉じこもっているのは不安でした。でも、どうやら正解だったようです。
Sakuya continues talking to Guido without a word of greeting to the other girls, despite her absence. That, oh my god, not this word again, tete-a-tete, seems strangely natural and intimate compared to their usual interactions.
昨夜だよな。
I guess they didn't hear Sakuya calling Gito brother.
1ヶ月ぶりかな。お久しぶりです。キリエ先輩、琴葉先輩。
That's when they realize Sakuya had said something a moment before that was too shocking to let slide. Okay, I was gonna say.
兄さんってさっき言ってたよな。どういうことだよ。言葉通りの意味です。私の本名は柊咲夜と言います。
Wow.
柊
I can't believe we're finally getting last names to these characters at the end of the game. They realize this is the first time they've ever heard her last name. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard her last name. Despite there being several siblings at St. Aria, neither ever realized the two shared a family name.
木に冬と書く柊に咲く夜で咲夜と言っても伝わらないとは思いますが、そしてこちらが柊義堂、私の兄です。
The familiar way she speaks to Gito, despite being several years younger, is more persuasive than anything she might have said.
咲夜が義堂の妹？はい。ですが今はそれより。
昨夜、ちょうどいい。こいつらを連れて大通りまで戻れ。
嫌に決まってます。
There is a hint of affection buried beneath his curt request, so different from how he usually talks to underclassmen, but Sakuya brushes it off. What she says and does next resonates far deeper with Kotaha and Kyrie.
なぜだ？俺の言う通りにすると約束しただろう。
しましたね。
She agrees, followed by a paradoxical statement.
でも兄さんは私に嘘をついていましたね。
Okay.
自分も死ぬ気だったなんて、私これまで一度も聞いてませんよ。おかしいです。兄さんはそんな行動をとる人じゃないはずなのに。
She says with firm conviction. Never before, not even once. She sounded far surer of herself than if her belief was based on their relationship alone.
黙っていたのは謝ろう。だが、半端な芸術家のまま生きていくことなど、俺にはできない。
I mean, if we're thinking about it from Sakuya's perspective, she spent like this year with Gito multiple times. She had time to mature, let's just say.
どうして今後の人生まで決めつけているんです？兄さんらしくありません。自暴自棄ですよ、それは。
So it's fine to kill everyone and not himself. I mean, there's gotta be a reason why she didn't try to stop Shu this loop.
それでも一度手がけた作品を完成させられなかった罪は消えない。俺はこの町の人間にとって許される存在ではない。
なんだ、わかってるんじゃないですか。皆さんのことが兄さんにとって大切だって。
それくらいはな。 ただ、犠牲にしようとしていたのは事実。
反省してください。それならきっと皆さんも兄さんに言いたいことが山ほどあるはずです。
He heaves an exhausted sigh. After being lectured into stopping after already having given up, he seems to be at the end of his emotional rope.
ではなんだ。このままのうのうとこの町で生きろと。
いえ、それなら外で一緒に暮らしましょう。戻れる家はないかもしれませんが。
ごめんだな。
Feeling a rift forming between himself and Sakuya, he internally mourns the lack of a sympathetic ear. A world closed off from everyone else. Isn't that what he's always been? Isn't that what he's always been?
なすことも死ぬことも許されない。なら。
What is this gonna be? Uh-oh. He drops the broker and looks up at the sky. Kyrie and Kotaha have a brief moment of relief on seeing his exhaustion, as if he's given up on everything. It's only Sakuya who knows what's about to happen, ringing the alarm bells like never before. At that moment. I can't let you do that. There's one other person who knows exactly what Guido is about to do. Is this what happened? What I'm thinking is they both know exactly what he's going to do because this is what happens in the first time loop. The first go around or whatever, right? But then how would you explain how he stopped how Shu would have been able to stop the apocalypse? No. This is what happened during the first time loop, because then was when Shu actually knew that the apocalypse was going to happen, and then fucking Sakuya died in this explosion. I don't know. I think is Guido just going to blow up the, starting everything over with every mistake. That's what the people here won't forgive you. That's what the people here won't forgive you for. Interesting. Sakuya looks back over her shoulder. Standing there, breathing heavily, is Shu. He must have done something during the teacher's time loop. Right. I finally caught up to you. Ito and Kotaha are still facing each other. Kyrie watches from the sidelines while Sakuya stands between them. I can feel their thoughts swirling around me amid their softly fallen snowflakes.
Shu-kun.
Pauline. Hey, did I make it in time? Well, considering no one's dead, yeah.
Riri senseiの方はどうなったんだよ?
We came to an agreement. More importantly, I faced Guido for the first time. He has a look on his face. He has a look on his face I've seen before, and it scares me a little.
それはダメだと。何のことだ?
You may not have realized it, but you ate a red apple once. Which means you cannot wish for another chance. Right. That's the thing, right? Because the fucking headmaster died, my theory of the headmaster eating the apple is wrong. So then... But yeah, right? Here's the other thing, though. Guido ate the red apple, which is the reason for the first time loop of Sakuya going back, right? Geto and Sakuya, he forgot the memories of that happening. Let me think about it. Because the whole reason I'm confused about this, right, is because Geto could have been the same way as Yune, and in the fact that he would have been able to send Sakuya back in time without needing Yune's help, right? And just like Shu and Yune, the start of their time loop should be after they ate the apples, so that they would never be able to reverse that decision, right? Which is what Shu did with Yune, right? They I guess they didn't eat the apple, maybe. I'm not sure. That was more like that was pretty vague. He could have right. God damn it. Maybe they'll explain it probably.
Rin? 何を言っているシュ?
Because, you know, Geto not remembering the time loops makes sense, right? He ate the red apple. He sent Sakuya back to the year.
Shu-senpai.
Previous year, right? Sakuya stares at the ground, seemingly heartbroken. She and I are the only ones who fully understand what's going on here. He really is just like Yune. He doesn't remember any of the other timelines. The Apple of Wisdom grants the ability to turn back time at the expense of one's memories. Yeah, some fucking wisdom you are. Some fucking Apple of Wisdom? My ass, bro. What wisdom do you gain from being able to turn back time for the other person? But surely... Geto, do you remember our conversation about the girl who jumped through time?
覚えているが、それがどうした?
Bad wisdom. Neither you nor Yuji believed me at the time, but I swear it's the truth. I've stood in this exact spot, on the exact date in December many times over. Well, I would expect it to be... I would expect it in the first timeline, yeah. But previous time loops, maybe? Well, here's the thing, right? It makes sense, right? Of Shu, the first time around, stopping Geto. Geto blows up, blah blah blah, right? And kills Sakuya, and that's how Sakuya is able to go back to the previous year. And then this is the confusing part, right? Because the only reason Sakuya knows how Shu is going to stop how Shu is going to stop the apocalypse is because Shu has always stopped the apocalypse before, right? Each time loop, Shu has stopped the apocalypse, but because Sakuya goes back further, and with the knowledge of how she was going to stop the explosions, how she was going to stop the apocalypse, she's able to stop his stopping of the apocalypse or whatever, right? God damn. It's hard to explain, but it's the only reason why Sakuya was able to know exactly how Shu was going to stop the apocalypse, right? In how she has essentially experienced this year twice as much as Shu. Maybe. God damn it. And there's one more thing. Something that neither Yune nor I ever saw coming. Gito, you're just like us.
何を言ってる?
How much is online sales tax in your country? Dexter, did you forget our conversation about how GST is included in our prices? We don't know what the I don't know what the sales tax is because it's always included in the original price. Like, his immediate denial is understandable. Unlike when I tried to persuade Kiria and Kotaha, and unlike Sakuya, Gito has absolutely no context. But I'm right, aren't I, Sakuya? What are you trying to do, Dexter? She remains silent. That I've entrusted her with this final confrontation means no one but us knows what's really going on. Well, Yune knows what's going on, she just can't vocalize it because she lost her voice for reasons that, you know, the apple of wisdom allows you to turn back time for the person who ate the other apple, and if you're able to get your memories back of those times, you'll lose your voice so that you can't vocalize the wisdom that you've gained. What a fucking trade-off. Like I said, apple of wisdom, my fucking ass, bro. She's the only one who understands exactly what I mean. A look of resignation crosses her face for the first time.
お察しの通り、私はシュウ先輩と同じ青リンゴを食べた身です。
What a bad trade-off. Yeah. This isn't like finding out that Sakuya ate the green apple isn't this fucking big twist of a thing, right? We already understand that Sakuya knows how to. Dexter, you just gifted me. What did you gift me? $25 on Steam. 20? Oh god. I mean, look, this isn't like a big fucking twist, big surprise moment, right? We already figured that Sakuya was the one who ate the apple, considering she knew that Shu could go back in time. Like, right? I thought so. That's why you've been able to change your actions, just like me. What the fuck, Dexter? Another $10. What the? Right. What is going on? And if Sakuya is here, then her fundamental partner must be here as well.
兄、ギドウが赤リンゴを食べた存在です。
What? Dexter, stop! 40 in total. Right. That the math does add up. But like what? I figured I first heard the two of them were siblings from Sister Lily herself. Has Sakuya been repeatedly reloading this time loop all by herself? Yes, that's exactly the thing, right? Gito, there should be a version of Gito in that space, but for some reason he can't turn back time? Or Am I overthinking this? Right? What if Guido... Fuck! Maybe he can. That's what I'm thinking, right? Maybe he can, but he isn't strong enough. So he needs Yune to help him, unknowingly help him turn Sakuya back. But then, how is he able to do it the first time? Right? Or was he just... He used all his strength the first time around. That's not implausible. Do the two of them work together like Yune and I have been? Well... No. The other thing, right? Because in a longer time period. Right. The other thing, right? With my theory of Sakuya essentially has gone back twice as much as Shu, is when Shu succeeds in stopping the apocalypse, Sakuya and Guido are, you know, they're the only ones who could go back in time, right? So that's when Guido uses his powers to go back in time. Stream killing itself. I think that's... I think that's fucking encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset. Go fuck yourself, OBS. What does the stream look like? Oh boy. Yep. I love OBS. Well, at least, you know, the recording will be fine. Yeah. Look, either way, right? If my theory is right, then Guido has to have also been able to go back in time, and also knows that he only has a set amount of times he's able to loop. He's able to send Sakuya back. So then he reserves those times for when Shu succeeds. Right? And when Shu fails, Sakuya uses Yune. Right? Am I overthinking this? I've asked that question too many times. Or do the two of them work together like Yune and I have been? Or are they free to do what they want without regard of their respective apple? What was the only thing that was the only thing that remained a mystery to me, and yet the presence of Guido and the perpetrator and Sakuya's brother revealed the right answer. Yune controlled the flow of time, and I relived each loop. The relationship between Sakuya and Guido is exactly the same as between me and Yune.
シュウ先輩が本来起きる時間は今月の3日ですよね。
That's right. I ate the green apple the night of the 2nd and awoke on the 3rd.
私たちは去年の3日にリンゴを食べました。なので2017年の12月4日に私は何度も目覚めています。
Right. That's... we know that. December 3rd of last year, the day Sakuya marked as her so-called save point. Since she's been reliving an entire year and a month with each repeated loop, even if we went back to the same number of times, her experience would always be 12 times longer than mine.
私たち以外にあのリンゴを食べる人が出てくるなんてことは正直想像もしていませんでした。
Yeah, no. Here's the thing, right? You messed with fate by giving Sakuya the ability to go back in time, right? So then God was like, "Hang on a minute, you can't be you can't be disturbing fate like that." So we're gonna give Shu and Yune the ability to go back in time as well. But then, how were they originally able to go back in time? Right? Fucking Amazing Grace, some shit. The color of their attribute is fucking green.
そもそも発生するメカニズムも謎ですし、原理もよくわかりません。
Like the color of the apple that allows Shu and Sakuya to go back in time. We need a counteract. Yeah. I feel the same way. There are several common denominators, such as the date of the apples appeared, and how each pair was comprised of a man and a woman. That said, the exact conditions are still unclear. I don't know, did God want another Adam and Eve? So he chose he chose two people that were in close relations with each other and accidentally choose two siblings. Chose. More importantly, it's fairly nonsensical how the start of the loop is the moment of consumption. It's something I have no logical explanation for. Do you have a logical explanation for how you're able to go back in time? Amazing Grace. All I can get so far is the start of Advent triggers the save point and Christmas triggers the reload ability. Yeah, so and now, right, you've got Shu having the ability to go back to the 3rd of December 2018, right? And you got Sakuya who's able to go back to the 4th of December 2017, and then you have another two people who's able to go back to the 5th of December 2016.
ただ、そんな中でも確かだったことはありました。今月12月の3日を境に、シュウ先輩が急に変わったんです。
Yes, we established this. A sudden change. I know exactly what she means, of course.
今までと違うセリフ、今までと違う行動。私はとても驚きました。
You can, Sakuya, I don't think you need to speak to him in, what is it, second person? He's right in front of you. You can just say you, okay? I remember the first time I called out to her and how frazzled she appeared in response. Of course, she'd been frightened by a character suddenly, if a character suddenly starts ad-libbing their lines. Meanwhile, I was equally startled by her unscripted reaction.
それも最初は懐疑的でしたが、次第に確信へと変わっていきます。
Sakuya and Guido, as a pair, had created their own save point well before ours. That made it easy for her to notice any deviation from the normal pattern.
間違いなくシュウ先輩は分かってやってる。日が経つほどにそれは明らかでした。だからこそ、私の方は気取られないように動きました。なるべく同じ言動をするようにして。
In fact, her unexpected reactions had never tipped me off to who she really was. Like I keep praising the game for how everything keeps getting recontextualized. Mainly because, from my perspective, any such deviations were entirely my fault.
そして気づかれさえしなければ、私はシュウ先輩を監視することができました。多少コントロールすることも。
My attempt of disposing of the Brookers and her replacing them was a good example of this. In the beginning, in the Beninging, I didn't bother to act discreetly in the slightest, so it would have would have been easy enough for Sakuya to track my movements. Right? However, does that mean I was an obstacle in your way? That was the real question. The trigger for our time loop was the apocalypse, so it would be bizarre if theirs was somehow different.
はい。兄の計画にとって、シュウ先輩こそが邪魔でした。
Sakuya is adamant that I was the obvious nuisance. I'm the troublemaker.
シュウ先輩がいたから、私たちのやり直しは始まりました。
What? Sakuya makes it very clear that her trigger for reloading her save point was me. Unable to make sense of it, I repeat my question. But that doesn't make sense. Everything I've done until now has been one failure after another.
いえ。
Oh? Was I right in my theory? Was my theory correct?
成功していたんですよ。本当は。
See? Like I said, she has lived through not only 12 times as long of a time loop, but twice as many time loops, right? Until this time, I'd always failed to stop the apocalypse, but now I finally succeeded. I know I'm definitely not wrong about that.
シュウ先輩は最初のアポカリプスを阻止し、それを許せなかった兄がリンゴの力を起動しました。それだけです。
That's true, right? The first time around, they succeeded. Of course, it was going to happen, right? Oh, so that's what happened. Sakuya and Gito began their own time loop one cycle before ours. In that original timeline, we didn't find our apples or eat them. Yes.
そうです。先輩はうまくいっていました。憎らしいほど。
In their POV, they failed. Yeah. And in her, they failed. Yeah. Right? They failed the first time around, obviously. And then, like, that's what triggered the save point the first time around. And then that's when the start of the game kind of happens, right? Of Sakuya. And in January, drugging Shu so that he forgets his memories of what happened. And then what the fuck does Sakuya do with Shu all the way from January to November, bro? and regardless, right? And then that's when the game starts happening, right? Of all the way to November, the game goes through, explosion, right? They eat the apple, apocalypse happens, and then Shu and Yune are able to go back in time. They stop the apocalypse again, right? And then that's how the trigger happens again, and then they play the whole cat and mouse game multiple times all the way through until Sakuya actually gives up. Until Sakuya finally gives up. That's what I'm questioning as well. Right.
その後もアポカリプスはシュウ先輩の手によって幾度となく阻まれます。私もそれに応じて対抗策を考えます。
Right, there's the thing. Every timeline, Shu has succeeded. But then, Gito, because Sakuya and Gito are able to go back further, I wouldn't be surprised. Right. Nakiye and fucked up content, that is a taste at what she did. What?
決まっている運命を変えようとするのはとても難しいです。私たちが目的を阻まれ続けている間、 まだシュウ先輩は自身がループに巻き込まれていることを知りません。ただただこの町に入ってきた目的を遂行しているのみでした。
Of course, she wouldn't have known. I still hadn't eaten the green apple yet back then.
より正確に言いましょう。私たちはこれで18回目です。
Right. So it isn't twice as many, right? Because isn't this Shu's 11th? Or is it actually is it actually twice as many and this is only his 9th?
そして最初から数えて7回目。アポカリプスは成功してしまいました。
7th? Holy. Interesting. Really interesting. See, that's surprising, right? Because how? Right? The success of the apocalypse or the destruction of the town. I've experienced that tragedy many times.
それだけではありません。私は兄さんに許可を取り、皆さんだけでも逃がすことのできる手はずを用意していました。
You did what?
そして私は皆さんのもとへそれを伝えに行こうとしていました。
However,
でもですよ。気づけば私たちは12月の4日に戻っていたんです。去年の。
Oh, she doesn't go into the fucking place anymore. Interesting.
それは少なくとも兄と私にとって望ましい結末だったはずなのに。
Maybe she never drugged him before? Maybe, right? That would make sense. If they had returned to their previous save point despite not reloading themselves, or at least that's how Saku explains it. Only a heartfelt prayer for another chance will trigger the supernatural power of both the apple and the tree. If what Sakuya says is true, and they succeeded in their 7th try, then neither of them would have prayed for another chance. So then who did? That is the interest. That's the thing, right? Okay. Now we know that they succeeded after the 7th try? 8th try. Fuck. They succeeded, did the bombing, right? What I'm thinking, right? What I'm understanding is they've kept succeeding, right? And what because they kept what I'm trying to get at is what triggered the change in the timeline where Yune and Shu. It was the drugging, right? That's the only explanation. Like what you said, Kong. Without the drugging, it wouldn't have changed fate, which would have caused the. She still remembers because of the apple. Right. I think you're right in saying that Sakuya never drugged Shu before they finally succeeded. Right? Which was when the game finally started. And then, because of the drugging, the timeline shifted and fate changed. So then Amazing Grace or whoever gave Yune and Shu the ability to go back in time. Right? You still remember because of the apple. Yeah. Interesting. So then who did?
最初は事故かと思いましたので、私は前回と全く同じ方法、探り当てた成功パターン通りの動きをしました。同じ通りにやれば失敗はない。そう考えていましたが、違いました。私が全く同じ行動をしても、違う反応を見せた方がいます。
He forgot everything that was meant to do. He was meant to do. That was me. Our attempt at trying to find who our enemy was led to them picking up on our scent even faster.
その年から、シュウ先輩の行動に異変が生じたこと、それによって私は私たち以外のリセットを確信します。
Right, I hope I'm right. Because I can't think of any other reason why Shu and Yune are able to go back in time, right? If Yune had unknowingly forced Sakuya to go flying back to her own save point from her metaphorical bow with each reset. With every reset, whether triggered by Yune or me, Sakuya was forcibly sent back to December 3rd of the previous year. In other words, she always had a decent head start on us every single time.
思うにこういうことだと思います。尾を食らう蛇のように、私たちは異なる結末を求めて回り続ける。
Sakuya and Gito's 7th Christmas overlapped with our first. And since then, we've relived the same loop 11 more times. Damn stream is having a stroke. Yeah. God fucking damn it. Until now, I'd wrongly assumed we were on a losing streak against our enemy, Sakuya. I love OBS. But that was from my perspective. According to her, I'd actually been on a winning streak.
まだ不思議でしょうか。シュウ先輩はきっと兄の企てをまっとうに阻止した覚えはないと思っているんじゃないですか。
The only thing I'm seeing, right, between when the stream is fucking dying and when the stream isn't, is when my bitrate is what is it? I forgot what it's called. My bandwidth, right, is, but yeah, bitrate is fucking 8,000 kilobytes. Which, you know, doesn't make sense because mine is usually around 6,000, which is kind of the most you need for 1080p streaming, right? I don't know what's going on. Let's just say in the game or through OBS. It's true. Although I tried escaping the town several times, all I remember is any attempt at stopping the apocalypse was firmly rebuffed. And VN I will play even if it is all age. And it's the same even now, with all my memories restored. However,
では、こうお呼びすれば、あるいは引っかかるものもあるでしょうか。
what are you gonna say?
シュウ先生。
There it is! I was waiting for someone to actually say, Professor Shu, I guess.
シュウ。先生？
Yes. Shu Sensei. That should make you look at it. Yeah, me playing an all ages visual novel. It says releases 2024. They've got 3 more months. I don't have hopes.
ほら、シュウ先生、早くそっちに座って。
Fine, fine, I'm coming. No need to rush. He came in as a teacher, right? And it's and here's the weird part, right? The first 7 time loops. No. Well, okay. There's the thing of Sakuya has experienced Shu as a teacher for 7 time loops, but then how jarring is it that Shu not only is a professor, but is a professor is a year younger than fucking Kotoha and Gido. It seems weird they're calling him professor, especially Kotoha, right? Yeah, planned release Q4. So, you know, it is getting closer to quarter 4. But you know, here's the thing, right? If it was university, it would make sense, right? You know, you don't need you're not a minimum. There is no minimum age or maximum age requirement for going to university, so it isn't as shocking if your teacher is younger than you. A professor, I guess. That's the other thing. They're calling him professor instead of just calling him teacher. But yeah. God damn it! Is it a translation thing? I don't know. They call him sensei, which is just teacher. You can call it teacher. It could, you know what? They could have just changed the translation to Mister instead of Professor. It's a dream I've had several times now. I've always seen it as some kind of hint or clue towards something something important, although I had never remembered the details until now.
ここにいる誰もあのことを覚えてはいませんが、私だけはしっかりと覚えています。
I knew it. That's the reason why you and your brother had to reset everything.
はい。シュウ先輩がシュウ先生であること、それがアポカリプスの失敗する最大の要因なんです。
So in other words, Guido and the Red Apple reset time to make sure I never became a teacher. While we've been trying to stop them, they've been coming up with ideas to stop us.
シュウは先生だったのかよ。なんとなくでしか話せないのだけど、私は今年度から新しい先生が来るって噂を聞いたことがある。でも結局新しい先生は来なくて。
Oops. That was me. I was originally supposed to start in April, but...
シュウ先生は大変優秀なお方でした。音楽教師としての本分はもちろん、兄の計画を的確に妨げていました。
I mean, it makes sense that he's a good music teacher, because what other art could he be good at? We already know he's shit at everything else except playing the piano. Oh, playing the organ, I guess. It'd give him much more access to everything. Right. But then the other thing, right, is they were meant to have a teacher. Yeah. The other thing is, why? Well, okay, I know why. Because he's Watarase's son. I don't know, man. God damn it.
音楽教師？どういうことだよ、シュウ。
Yeah, it makes sense considering he played the organ perfectly. I wouldn't have been allowed in otherwise. Admission to the academy is usually only open to those who score high in the art aptitude test.
テスト？そんなんあったか？昔すぎて覚えていないだけですよ。物心つく前に外でセンスを認められた子供だけがこの町に入れるんです。
Yeah, and one of them just so happened to also be a nun.
外でだって？
Unless Sister Lily isn't here because she's good at art, she's only here to preach the word of the Lord.
私も兄さんも先輩たちもみんなそう。この町には病院だって一つしかないんですから、ここに生を受けたなんてことはありえません。
So, yeah, that's the other thing, right? Without them coming in from the outside world, how would they have been born here? Because they don't even, none of them have parents, right?
皆さんのご家族もまだオーロラの外にいるはずなんです。家族？マジかよ。だからシュウ先輩は異端なんです。本来この町で教育を受けるためには物心つく前からここに入っていなくてはならない。
That's what made Shu such a discrepancy. He doesn't have a family. His parents died. They were brought in for their talent. Yeah, exactly.
そのためにシュウ先輩は音楽という専攻を生かしてこの町に教師として入る道を見つけました。私たちと変わらない年でも。
He has a music major, but he's still in high school. What? Is he just okay? You know, I've heard the stories of gifted students like breezing through school until and majoring in a going to university at a young age. Was Shu like that? Like he graduated he got his bachelor's in music. I don't know what the major would be called. Right at like 16. Saki knew everything about me. Nothing she said has been factually wrong. After a lot of negotiating, I finally got permission to enter the town, just so I could stop the apocalypse. I mean, Watarase definitely wasn't. Yeah, he was gifted in music. Yeah, you know, he could tell the beeps from the boops. I've always been an amateur when it comes to art. Well, yeah, because you spec all your points in fucking music. Aside from my mastery in the officially recognized field of music.
私もそう聞いています。間違いはないはずです。
Look, all I'm saying is that there's a spider on my wall. All I'm saying is that music should have also been an art form before Shu got here, because just like regular painting art, it has also been modernized to be shit. Alright? Pop music is a lot of the time has the same fucking beat to it and is repetitive and boring, right? At least when it comes to art and when it comes to modern art, all right? When it comes to modern art, at least then at least those fucking pieces got a reaction out of you. Right? It pissed me off, but at least I got a reaction out of it. When I listen to pop music, typically Australia Spider everywhere, I don't know where it went. Well, it was just a Daddy Long Legs, right? The only reason I was able to see it on the wall was because of its long legs. But like, you know, it's still good music. Look, if you like pop music, it's whatever, right? It's the same thing with modern art, so I'm just drawing comparisons. Nice and friendly, exactly. I knew my father, Soichi Watarase, was in charge of a very special school. If the story ended there, I probably wouldn't have cared that much. However, anyway, once his health began to go downhill, he started acting strangely. I don't want to die. I want to live, he'd cry out every day. And despite debilitating weakness, his violent tendencies only increased. Right. Yeah? He had gone mad. He sought out destruction as if brainwashed. It was the final blow to the tenuous strings holding his neglected family life together. And then, after learning of my father's plans, I decided to enter the town as a teacher to stop him. Right? That's what I was thinking before. Watarase definitely wouldn't have approved of Shu going into the Aurora if he knew that Shu was trying to stop the apocalypse, right? And as a result, I managed to successfully stop his plans and the apocalypse, only for the timeline to be reset. In other words, we're forced to repeat the same loop because my success is Guido's failure. If we manage to stop the apocalypse, Guido resets time, and if he successfully brings it about, Yune does. It's an eternal loop that continues without end. Sad shit family life. I expected that. Right? You're telling me that Shu's mum would have approved in this whole project, right? With this whole Aurora thing? Hell no! I can guarantee she left his ass.
だから、私のやることは明白でした。両者の妥協点を見つけること。
You know, if you really wanted to destroy things, you know movies do that all the time, right? You know there are places that you can go to specifically so you can destroy things, right? As a sort of like it's a meditative thing. Sneaking through his connections, left or died. Yeah, no, he listen, Shu is just the classic Nepo baby. But, you know, now that Watarase is dead, I guess Shu got all of the inheritance, including the debt. So I guess that means you were never behind your brother's apocalyptic plan.
正解です。私にその意図はありませんでしたが、かといって兄さんのことは止められませんでした。それに私がどう止めたところで兄さんがそう祈る限りどうしようもありません。
See, listen. All I'm saying is that I knew Sakuya wasn't a bad person, right? I knew that Sakuya didn't want the people to die, and she confirmed it when she said that the first time Geto succeeded, she was going to tell everyone that there's a safe place to hide, but then the time loop, right? Then she looped again. And then after that, she realized that there's no point in her telling people that there's a safe place because she knows even if Geto succeeds, they'll just, you know, she will just go back in time, right? Sakuya never wanted to bring about the apocalypse to this town, but until Geto realizes his apocalyptic dream, then he will never stop resetting time. That said, as long as the apocalypse happens, then Yune won't stop doing it either.
二つのやり直しが形成されていると気づいた以上、両者が納得できるような結末を迎えなければいけません。
Well, unfortunately, if she can't stop him, so she helped him. Basically, unfortunately, as much as Yune would like to discuss a compromise, she can't really talk right now.
25日をきっかけにリセットが行われている以上、原因はアポカリプスと断定してほぼ間違いはないでしょう。死ぬのが嫌なのは誰だって当たり前です。ですが、シュウ先輩のようにアポカリプスそのものを阻止してしまっては兄の気が収まりません。兄さんはとても諦めの悪い人です。
I know all too well. Geto is a pretty suave individual who never gives up no matter what situation he finds himself in. And thanks to my father's influence, he seems to be, he seems as if he's lost his way as well.
シュウ先輩は少なくともシュウ先生である限りいろんなことを知りすぎていました。
I didn't remember any of that, but you did a good job summing it all up. Up.
はい。と言っても、シュウ先輩が若いことには変わりないので、ほとんど今のような関係でしたが。
I mean, true. They're only a year. There's only a 1 year age difference.
ただ、この町において教師である以上は、その裏側を知ることができます。シュウ先生はすべての情報を把握して、兄さんの計画を握りつぶしました。
Coming here to stop the apocalypse was my objective from the start. But my success in stopping the apocalypse is what triggered Geto's initial reset.
何度か試行錯誤を重ねた結果、シュウ先生を無力化するパターンを見つけました。それが、シュウ先生を教師でなく学生として入学させることです。
But that's what I'm saying, right? How in Kotaha's mind, what would she have been thinking when she is being taught music theory by a teacher a year younger than her?
何度か試行錯誤を重ねた結果、シュウ先生を無力化するパターンを見つけました。それが。
Oh, okay. So my admission to the academy is thanks to your repeated efforts.
はい。シュウ先輩がリンゴを食べたのも、おそらく先生でなく学生になったため起きた出来事なのでしょう。ですが、教師として入ってくるはずのシュウ先生をただお願いしただけで生徒にできるはずはありません。
I mean, yeah, Shu had more power as a professor, but that was also due to the fact that he knew that the apocalypse was going to happen, right? He had knowledge that student Shu wouldn't have, right? Because student Shu didn't have the memories with Rinka or whatever.
なので私はシュウ先生をまずただのシュウさんにするために策を講じました。
I'm painfully aware of what she did next. The thing she gave me. Muse. The band.
はい。外での記憶をまっさらにさせることです。そうでもしない限り、シュウ先輩はあの手この手でアポカリプスを食い止めていました。そして、その度に兄も諦めない。
My amnesia allowed me to attend the academy as a student instead of a teacher. It also made me helpless to stop the apocalypse from swallowing the town. Drugs.
アレイヤの生徒である限りは、この町の教育を受けます。外のことなんて何も教わらない、まっさらなままのシュウ先輩でいられるのです。
I see. I'd always taken for granted the assumption that I was the same as everyone else. However, I'd originally been admitted into the academy as a teacher.
そしてミューズをもってしても、外での記憶を完全に取り除くのにかかる時間、それが304日という期間でした。
Were they just dosing him with Muse for 304 days? What the fuck were they doing with him? The day I woke up here in this town was exactly 304 days after January 27th. When I woke up in Yune's room, it was November 28th.
ミューズは1回の服用で何もかも忘れるほどの強い作用はありません。ですが、多量の摂取は危険。安全とはいえドラッグですから。
So that's exactly what they did. They fucking drugged him every like few days so that he doesn't overdose. What hell? You know what? Silver lining, at least he forgot all of it.
シュウ先輩を無事なままで記憶喪失にさせるためには304日間という時間で少しずつ服用してもらう必要がありました。
So you're saying you kept me drugged over a period of 304 days, which I still don't remember? It's probably a good thing that you don't remember it. Maybe it was a good thing I forgot it. See? Exactly what I said! Did she keep him locked up? Definitely. I have no idea what my quality of life was like, but even after taking the anti-muse, that period of time is still hazy. Yeah, okay. But like, how is she feeding him? And shit like that. Right? Because if you're a masochist, no. Listen, I love Sakuya, okay? I don't want her to do that to me. How much I remembered and how much I'd irrevocably forgotten. It's something only Sakuya, who came up with this idea after multiple attempts, can answer. Hold on. If that's true, then why did you decide to remain hidden this time around? Okay. The only reason I can think of, right, is because Sakuya doesn't want Shu to hate her. It's not that hard to imagine, right? That's exactly what she said to me over the intercom of that hidden basement room. In fact, we only succeeded thanks to her not doing anything to stop us throughout the entire month. Bringing us to the most important question of all.
シュウ先輩。シュウ先輩が私の立場なら、どんな理想を目指しますか？
If I were you,
兄さんは、破壊に疲れていました。私が何度説得しても、アポカリプスを止めようとはしません。私の無事だけは確保してくれると言いましたが、私だって他の大事な方たちを失いたくはありません。平行線です。ですが、アポカリプスは何度失敗しても蘇ります。兄が諦めない限り、1年、2年、3年、やり直しを続けているうちに、私はそれを悟りました。兄を止めたと思っても、また最初からやり直しです。
here's the worst part, right? Stalkia has essentially lived twice her lifetime in 1 year. Stalkia a Brokon? What the fuck do you expect? Of course she loves her brother. Her situation is the opposite of mine. While Yune and I have been working together toward the same peaceful goal, there seems to be a deadly divergence separating the siblings. Here's the thing. Shu has only lived through 11 months in this time loop, and then Sakuya has lived through 18 years. Holy shit. Brokon means romantic love. The more fanatical Guido, the root of the problem. What? More fanatical Guido, the root of the problem, becomes, the more ashamed she grows.
赤リンゴを食べたのが兄である以上、私にリセットを止める方法はありません。兄が強く望めば、すぐに2017年へ戻ります。
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, right? What the fuck has Guido been doing in that place, I think, for like the past 18 years? She just gave up on that plan. I mean, wouldn't you?
どうしたらいいのでしょう。私は頑張ってそれを考えました。兄の計画を果たして、でも先輩たちも納得できるような未来。この街は壊れるけれど、私の好きな街のみんなは脱出することができる。私が求めたのはそんな世界でした。
It's at that moment I realized something. Her ideal solution is exactly how one of our timelines ended.
皆さんだけを逃がすというのは、シュウ先輩のリセットによって失敗しました。でも今度こそはって。
I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, Sakuya's route can't end with them escaping, because then Shu would have lost his ability to turn back time.
私や皆さんだけじゃない、街の誰もがオーロラを越えて抜け出せる、そんな未来があったんです。 いいわけありません。ですが、仕方のないことですから。昨夜は、先輩と一緒に生きていられるなら、それ以上は望みません。
Listen, the only reason she didn't have a romance route in her time loop was because she also knows how to time loop.
隣に先輩がいてくれるなら、どんな壁だって乗り越えられるって信じてますから。叶えたはずなんです。一度は。
Her usually emotionless voice trembles slightly.
できることをしました。あれで終わると思っていました。でも、終わらなかった。シオ先輩は、どうして私が今日まで隠れてたのかって聞きましたよね。
Also, Yune. Yeah, but Yune makes sense because because her goal is stopping the apocalypse, and she isn't gonna fuck Shu unless he stops the apocalypse. Yeah.
私は知りたかったんです。先輩がどうしたいのか。今ここで全部お話ししているのもそうです。先輩が本当に望んでいるのは何か、私にはわからないから。私たちの掴んだ未来で納得できなかったから、先輩はそこにいるんですよね。
Both are stubborn to their goal. I mean, yeah. Shu is stubborn in the fact that saving the people isn't enough, because Yune also wants to save the town. Right? That's why he didn't fuck Sakuya in her route and go with her to the edge of the Aurora, to the outside of the Aurora, because then it would have stopped Shu from being able to go back in time. She sounds fed up. Her harsh tone criticizing my actions is a far cry from the light-hearted jokes she usually makes.
私なんかと一緒に街を出るんじゃ全然満足できないから、先輩はやり直してるんですよね。
Sakuya.
私じゃ嫌だから、私と一緒にいても幸せじゃないから、あんなのじゃ終われないんですよね。
What about Kyrie's romance route? Kyrie doesn't know that Shu can go back in time. Well, I guess she does, but she can't go back in time. Is she angry or sad? The expression on her face seems to contain a mixture of both. Her voice is so quiet that it's almost drowned out by the wind, and yet she struggles desperately to be heard.
私がそばにいたって何の得にもならないですもんね。
That's not true. I just...
嘘です。それならどうしてあの時に終わってくれなかったんですか？
I could have left the town with Sakuya. That day I rediscovered the hole in the Aurora, there where I'd initially come through, and we'd built those arcs. Right. She must be talking about the Aurora's Achilles heel. It was Sakuya herself who started that rumor, and who brought it to my attention. Her idea succeeded in a way. It allowed us to survive without any casualties, at the expense of the town itself. However, if I go through with this, can I actually say I've saved the town? There was really nothing else I could have done. That wasn't the way I wanted it wanted it to end. That was all that remained in my reality. Which is why we're still standing here on this holy night.
嘘つき。嘘つき。先輩はずるいです。いつも。
Sakuya. Seeing her trembling all over, I just want to hug her. And yet, I can feel her hatred for me seeping from her skin, the emotion almost palpable.
先輩は覚えてなんかいませんもんね。
I don't know, considering that you drugged him for 304 days, I can't really say. Remember? That's when I realize the white snow piled up around her feet is the white snow piled up around her feet is quickly melting into slush.
私がどれだけ先輩と一緒にいたかなんて。先輩がどれだけ私と一緒にいたかなんて覚えてるはずないですもんね。
Tears poured down her cheeks, as if she could no longer hold back her overflowing emotions. You mean the time before I woke up in Yune's room?
そうです。でも当たり前ですよ。私がそのことも忘れてもらったんですから。
Sakuya intentionally made me forget about the 304 days we spent together. I mean, you know, 304 days times 11, by the way. And she's crying because of how cruel that is. It seems like a contradiction, and yet the sincerity in her demeanor proves how much she truly means it. Look, Shu, this is just classic woman moment. She struggles with all her might to speak, holding her tears at bay. Her fervent plea lacks reason, instead resonating deeply directly with my heart. And then,
咲夜はきっと優しい子なんだね。
what the hell? The moment I hear those words,
知らない事情があるなら聞かせてほしいよ。
this is
全部先輩が私にくれた言葉です。私は全部覚えています。外のことは忘れてもらいましたけど、ことが済めば元に戻すつもりでした。
listen. I don't think I don't think he wants to remember the 304 days. Apparently, she'd intended to dose me with the anti-muse she kept with her after Christmas was over. Unfortunately.
シュウ先輩がこの町に入って再び目覚めるまで、私はそれを決して開けられないパンドラの箱に秘めました。
Everything she's telling me, I've long since forgotten, and only she remembers. Who is your favorite now? Still Sakuya. Just the effect of her memory after being dosed with Muse for 304 days.
許されないことだというのは分かっています。でもそれだけはずっと思い出してほしくなかった。忘れたままでいてほしかったんです。 先輩がこのことを思い出したら、嫌われちゃうから。
Sakuya forcefully drugged you with Muse? Hey, if I don't remember it, like, it didn't happen. Because I'll hate her. So racked with grief, she was practically hyperventilating. She almost couldn't choke the word out.
でも、嫌です。嫌なんです。このまま、何も知らないままの先輩と別れるのは、もう、どんなに嫌われてもいいから、全部、溜め込むのは辛いんです。
Sakuya. I call her name, and in response, she looks me straight in the eyes.
シュウさん。
And then she says the magic words that will release my locked away memories from her Pandora's box. Hang on. I was
最後に、約束、守れなくて、ごめんなさい。
Oops. The moment I hear those words, it's like I can hear the sound of something shattering somewhere in my brain. That forgotten period of time I never knew existed. And the memories of my youth that Sakuya had locked away. That final barrier leading to my most important memories that I needed in order to turn from Shu back to Shu Watarase. Wait. What?
Kudasai. 起きてください、シュウさん。
Grayscale, who are you?
私はサクヤと言います。シュウさんの一つ下の可愛い後輩です。
Classmate? Sorry, none of this makes sense.
無理もないですね。起きたばかりですから。
Just woke up. Right. She's the angelic looking girl from the lake. Ow. Everything still hurts. Okay, I kind of remember that. I collapsed at Oneto and then...
無理やりオンネトを渡ろうとするからですよ。一応手当てはしておきましたけど。
Oh, you really did that for me?
サクヤ。
Huh?
君じゃなくて、サクヤです。
Sakuya's been that way ever since the first time we met. Since I hadn't received a dose of Muse yet, I still remembered my purpose in coming here. Sakuya, could you take me outside? I'm assuming this is your room, right? I had no idea where he was other than inside. But since my goal was St. Aria Academy, that's where I knew I needed to go. That's where I knew I needed to get to. Unfortunately.
ダメです。
Why? She said I was prohibited from leaving. Of course, I argued with her.
シュウさんは大怪我をしています。こんな状態で外に出てはまた怪我をします。
The first person he met was Sakuya. I mean, yeah. Gravely wounded. I don't feel that bad. Look, I can clearly move around without trouble. Ow, ow, ow.
ほら、大怪我です。
Because you hit me.
でも、怪我は怪我です。外は危険がいっぱい。
Yeah, Shu's hurt so bad he lost his receptors in his eyes, so now he can only see. So now he's permanently colorblind. Fucking hell. It was clear she was reluctant to let me leave her room. After a brief back and forth, I was the first to fall and decided to give it a break. But I came here to teach at the academy as a music professor.
そんな若い先生なんていません。
That's what I'm saying. That may be true, but it was the only way I could get myself into the St. Aria Academy. Even after hearing my explanation, she continued to refer to herself as my classmate. A day passed and then another, and she still refused to let me leave. There was no windows at all, which led me to believe we were in a basement room. If it was Kyrie physically and verbally abusing me. See? That's what fucking double standards. Although I had no complaints about my food or water situation, I still couldn't lose sight of why I came here in the first place. Hey, I think I'm finally all better.
しょうがないですね。でも、ちょうど週3用の服ができたところなんですよ。
What do you mean, finished?
はい、作っておきました。
She gave me 2 outfits I could wear inside her room. The most surprising thing of all was how perfectly they fit me. You made these for me?
はい。でも、外は極寒ですからね。こんな薄着で出たが最後、シュウさんはカチンコチンになってしまいます。
I'm pretty sure I was wrapped in a blanket.
おー。
She didn't take to hide her, didn't try to hide her hurt feelings. It was obvious that she didn't want me to leave. But
それじゃあ、私は学校に行ってきますから、いい子にしててくださいね。
what am I, a pet? I still haven't been granted. I should have been grateful considering she had given me a roof over my head, clothing and food, despite my arriving here basically destitute. But this seemed excessive. Not to mention we were a man and a woman living together under one roof. Sakuya think he's a student, but he was a teacher. I mean, this is like a different time loop, right? This is a time loop. One of them. A week passed in that way. That's when I first noticed something weird. Huh?
どうしました、シュウさん。
It's nothing, I think. What was it again? I can't remember.
はあ
I had a feeling I had a feeling like I'd forgotten something, but I couldn't remember what it was. Like when you reach for a dictionary and then forget what you wanted to look up. Do you have any idea what it might be?
知らないですよ。シュウさんが何を考えていたかなんて。
I guess you're right. That was when I forgot that I had to go to the academy. I still remembered most of my life in the outside world, but my memories regarding my position as a professor at St. Aria were gone. This is the second time loop? Probably. I feel as if there was something important I needed to do.
そういえば、シュウさんはセロリが嫌いだから出さないでほしいと言ってました。
I don't think that was it. Sakuya didn't act as if I was behaving any different than usual, so I shrugged it off and continued living my life. Our relationship was built on on sharing a room together and engaging in small talk. It must have been at the 2-week mark when I found myself losing my memories again. What the heck? I feel like I forgot something else. Despite the occasional boredom, living together with Sakuya was pretty fun. However, I felt anxiety building up inside of me at the same time. I was afraid my indulgence in this carefree life would lead me to lose track of the passage of time, much like the infamous Taro Urashima. God damn it. I need to look up this guy. Taro Urashima is the protagonist of a Japanese fairy tale, Otogi Banashi. Right. Every 2 weeks he was drugged. I think every week he was drugged, right?
気のせいですよ。それよりシュウさん、今日はボードゲームをしませんか?
Listen, all I'm saying is that if this is what you call if this is Stockholm Syndrome, then, I might have it. A board game? Sure, I guess. She was always there to keep me company, and we often played games together. A part of me constantly worried over whether I was doing the right thing, but... you didn't hear that. Seeing Sakuya's happy face always made me forget all about it. My situation at the time. It made me feel almost dependent on her. But it seemed to be what she wanted, so I resigned myself to my fate and went along with it. Valentine's Day. Eventually, I fell into a routine where I'd sleep while Sakuya was off at school, considering we both like her the most. Yeah. Since we were almost always together, we talked a lot about many things. We discussed our hobbies, sports, clothes, and art. We shared stories from our past, or at least from what I could remember of mine, about incidents that shaped us. She would always tell me stories about her school, and I remember smiling whenever she'd tell me about her teacher, the old witch who scared her. Considering the lack of other people, I'm surprised we never ran out of things to talk about. Throughout it all, there was one thing Sakuya would always ask me.
シュウさんの理想ってどんな人ですか?
Maybe you should have been more specific with that question. Didn't I tell you already?
そうですけど、忘れちゃったのでもう一度です。
If I had to describe the most perfect person, I knew from experience that Sakuya wouldn't believe me if I told her it was some suave guy. Not really having a good answer in mind, I found myself stumped.
シュウさんは好きな人とかいらっしゃらなかったんですか?
Rinka, I mean... Wait, I don't think so.
思うって何ですか?
My memories of my past feel really hazy lately.
そうですか.
She changed the angle of her question slightly. She wouldn't drop it until I gave her a proper answer. Well, I prefer girly girls over tomboyish ones, I guess. Man, this fucking guy. We discreetly did a fist pump. She discreetly did a fist pump. I don't think I didn't notice. Sakuya seemed depressed, so I spoke up in an attempt to comfort her. You're a great cook and a sweet girl.
じゃあ、これは仮に、もし仮にですけど、
She can't even win him over with his when she only person he with. Yeah. She stammered over the word hypothetically 5 more times before continuing.
昨夜のことは、どう思ってますか？
This is literally like you know those stories of like the guys being like with the girl being like, if I was the only if the world ended and we were the only 2 people, would you date me? This is the same situation. It was both a simple and complicated question. Overthinking it might end up causing more harm than good, so I answered honestly. Sure, I like you, Sakuya, but it's just that easy. She buries her flame-red cheeks in her hands. I have a feeling she got the wrong idea.
大丈夫です。
Well, like, why the fuck is this in gray and white? This is gray and white. Why is it in black and white? It's fucking boring. What?
シュウさんは男女の意味でそう言っているのではない。昨夜はちゃんとわかっています。
Okay, right. It seemed as if the misunderstanding had been cleared up in that moment. Knowing what I do now, it's very possible that conversation we shared was one she practiced multiple times before. She definitely did not hear the but. But of course, that they had that conversation on Valentine's Day. As my memories from the outside world began to fade, so did the wounds on my body. Sakuya, look, all my pain is gone. I thanked her for taking care of me, saying it wasn't necessary any longer. I figured the next logical step was leaving. Although I had long since forgotten about teaching at the academy here, it was only natural I'd want to get out. However,
ダメです。前にも言った通り、外は危険がいっぱいなんです。
huh? Yeah, but you go to school every day, Saveta, right?
私は強いからいいんです。
Is that so? I spot her a suspicious look, and she puffed out her cheeks in annoyance.
無敵なんです。どんな暴漢が来ても一撃でのします。
So then you can protect me?
そうは言いますが。出てどうするんですか？泊まるところなんてないですよ。
Well, yeah, it makes sense. I had already forgotten the word town by this point. I had no idea what existed outside of this room, and a part of me wanted to dispel that anxiety.
この部屋を一歩でも出れば、もうソドムと言われる荒野なんですよ。シュウさんなんて魔物にあってすぐ食べられちゃいます。
Really? I didn't believe her for 1 second, but she made it clear that she was very worried about my safety. Plus, she did go out of her way to take care of me until my injuries healed, so I figured it'd be best to simply do what she said for the time being.
それに、ずっとじゃありません。もう少しでここから出ても平気になるので。
Okay. I still had a lot of questions, but if she said to stay put for now, then that's what I would do. Little did I know I still had several months to go. March 2nd. I didn't say any of the dates before. Yeah, now he's gotten Stockholm Syndrome. My forgetfulness, it just kept getting worse and worse as time passed. I'm sure Sakuya was well aware of what was going on, but she feigned ignorance. I continued eating the food she served me every day. And considering we slept and ate together, she had plenty of opportunities to dose me with Muse.
今日はシュウさんの好きなロールキャベツですよ。
Oh, yum, you remembered.
シュウさんのリアクションはすべて頭に入っていますからね。
Yeah, I bet you have. She cooks me food every single day, and has never heard a single complaint from me. I remember an odd sense of nostalgia when I eat cabbage rolls in the cafeteria once. Likely because they were my favorite dish of hers. Though it's a bit weird to think of Sakuya's food as home cooking. Instead of toothpicks, you use noodles to tie a cabbage roll together.
それなら食べきれますからね。生活の知恵です。
You can eat the toothpick. You'll make a great wife someday, Sakuya. You shouldn't have said that to her. Everything tastes great. Like always.
そういう意味ですね。
What was that? Our pseudo-married life continued day after day. Staying there with Sakuya felt so natural that I'd lost any desire to leave. That said, my memories are from one of her more successful timelines. She's gone through the same loop so many times that she must have, that some must have ended in failure. I might have forced my way out and escaped. But that year, Sakuya had managed to keep me under control. And once you find the pattern to success, all you need to do is repeat it. March 17th. When you're locked in a room, the days blend into each other, and you lose your sense of time. Sakuya would sometimes tell me what happened at school as if out of concern.
卒業式の前にクラスで発表会が開かれるので、私も何か作品を作らなければならないのです。
Interesting. So she done this like 16 times? Probably. Oh, good luck.
ですが、服はダメと言われてしまいました。どうしましょう？
So it's a creative assignment, but you make all your clothes by hand, don't you?
卒業して上に進めば認められるみたいなのですが、チベッタだと絵か彫刻に限定されてしまうのです。
That sucks. But you're really good at painting too. I'm sure you'll do well.
本当ですか？それならシュウさんを描いちゃおうかな。
That's a little too embarrassing. Plus, no one knows who I am.
誰だかわからない方がミステリアスです。シュウさんはモナリザになるのです。というわけで、この衣装を着てポージングしてください。
Ain't no way. What the hell? Isn't it a little risque?
古代ギリシャの服をイメージして作りました。さあ、脱いで脱いで。
Yeah, but you're trying to recreate the Mona Lisa, so why didn't you use Renaissance-style clothing instead? Don't be so pushy.
ああ、シュウさん、背中にほくろがありますね。
Do I? Never noticed.
そうそう。そうやってポーズして。
And that's how I was roped into being Sakuya's model. Kinky. Looking back, she went out of her way to explain everything without mentioning the Academy's name. June? It's been 3 months. It's time skipped 3 months. And it's still grayscale. Hey, Sakuya.
お、なんでしょうか、シュウさん。
I made this for you.
これは
Oh. It's the same fucking thing. I made this out of old juice bottle corks. It's not as good as your art, of course.
いえ、嬉しいです。もらっていいんですか？
Okay, you explained the cork, but that's not the only thing there. What about the other things? As long as you don't hate it, it's supposed to be Corpicur.
はい。かわいいです。シュウさんが私に何かを作ってくれるなんて、昨夜は感激です。
Come on, that's a bit much.
はい。ちょっと待ってくださいね。
She quickly took out a new bottle of grape juice before immediately opening it.
それで、こうして、こうで、じゃーん！できました。私のコロポックルちゃんです。
Cute, very girly. You know when she reset time, Sakuya lost Shu's gift? Yeah, and then she got it back after every other time loop.
ですです。これで寂しくありませんね。
Thinking back, that must have been the first time I made her a Corpicur. She looked so happy when I gave it to her, and I deeply regret forgetting that heartfelt smile. What did you expect? Oh, it's August now. August 7th. Everything must come to an end someday, and I was steadily nearing my own limits. Sakuya,
どうしましたか、シュウさん。
how do I put this? I feel like I'm losing more of my mind every day. My forgotten memories, my lost knowledge. At the time, I chalked it up to some cognitive illness, despite the fact that I'd recovered physically. I could barely even remember my own family's names. If this continues, soon I won't be able to remember anything at all. I'm scared.
シュウさん。
It was the first time I admitted my fear to her. Even now, it pains me to try and remember how Sakuya must have felt hearing me say that. What do you mean how she felt? What do you mean? What about you?
今日も美味しいご飯を作りますから、一緒に休みましょう。シュウさん。きっとまた思い出せる日が来ますから。
Sakuya. Thinking back, I remember the look of anguish on her face as she spoke.
ごめんなさい。いつか必ず元に戻しますから。それまで。
Somehow he snapped out of Stockholm Syndrome and fell through the others. Because he didn't even remember he had Stockholm Syndrome. The void left by my lost memories was filled with by Sakuya, whose presence in my life grew larger. My real issue at the time was that I had no guarantee I could continue living without her. October 26th. One month before the game start. What's for dinner tonight, Sakuya?
今日は味噌ラーメンに挑戦してみました。お口に合うかどうかわかりませんが。
I'm sure I will, since everything you make is delicious. Eventually, I learned to embrace my new life without complaint. I just spent every day with her in the same room. And for the most part, nothing changed except for what we talked about and who won at chess. In other words, I was in the perfect mindset to forget everything about the outside world. Just as the people here don't question what lies outside the Aurora, my very existence was defined by a space so much smaller than the town itself. Sakuya?
いえ、何でもありません。
He was the stay-at-home husband. Not even. He didn't do any of the chores. Sakuya was the one cooking for him and probably other things. This was the result of being drugged with Muse for so long. A person named Shu, who held no knowledge of the outside world, was born in that room. And before long, it was finally time.
外はすっかり寒くなってきましたよ。
The time finally came for me to leave the nest. It was just before the start of Advent. There it is. November 27th. Neat husband. Yeah. Finally!
シュウさん、こちらへ。
Color! I can't believe this. What's wrong, Sakuya? I could tell something was up from the weird way she was acting. Knowing Sakuya as well as I did at that point, her change in behavior was obvious, but I still trusted her without a doubt. What's that?
これはお薬です。シュウさんの物忘れを治すための。
Really? I took the piece of paper without question. In retrospect, that was probably the last dose of Muse she gave me. Sakuya, why are you crying?
いえ、そんなことはないです。
As she held the Muse out to me, she seemed to be wrestling with some unbearable pressure. At the time, having adapted to a world that was far too small, I didn't realize anything was wrong. Do I eat it or lick it?
舌に乗せてください。こうして。
Her gaze was affectionate yet distant, as if she were lost in thought, and yet I still didn't hesitate. With that, I took my final dose of Muse. Wait, what? Everything was blurry. Noticing the change coming over me, she began speaking as if in resignation of the inevitable.
今の薬は今までのものとは違う旧式のものです。これまでに使っていたミューズと違い、解毒剤がありません。
And that was the biggest lie she ever told Shu. Sakuya. Knowing her as well as I did, I could sense another dramatic shift in her demeanor. Unfortunately, it wasn't long after taking the medicine before I felt myself losing consciousness.
これでシュウさんは私のことも忘れて正しい生活に戻れます。
Forget. Fuck. The word forcibly pulled me back from the brink. Don't leave me. Forget. Wait, what do you mean?
言葉通りの意味です。シュウさんがここに来て304日間、私と過ごしてきた日々のこと。
To this new person named Shu. Those 304 days were his entire life. What are you talking about, Saku?
楽にしていてください。すぐに寝られます。
Saku, yeah.
今までずっと束縛してごめんなさい。私にはこうする方法しか見つかりませんでした。シュウ先生は優秀でしたから、兄はいつも止めてくれていました。でも、それじゃダメなんです。
I struggle against the sensation of falling. I desperately cling to my rapidly fading consciousness, listening to Sakuya's words.
シュウさんなら生徒としてもみんなを救ってくれると信じています。私の立場で言えたことではありませんが。
Sakuya, you...
シュウさん、あなたは湖で倒れているとユネという銀髪の女性が歌っているのを目撃します。
I need to read that out. Okay. She already said it. Sakuya planted a suggestion into my brain, and when I wake up, there was no deviating from the path after that.
気絶して目覚めると、あなたはその女性の部屋にいます。また、あなたは外から来た存在なので、この町のことを知りません。
Pre-imprinted perceptions. As long as I forgot everything, it won't work as a definitive script, but her words would remain planted deep in my memories.
そこではもしかすると、サクヤという名前の女性に出会うかもしれませんが、初対面です。その後、あなたは聖夜霊夜学院に2年生として転入します。ユネという女性と同じリンゴ組です。
So she brainwashed him to think the person.
外の記憶をなくしたあなたは、異なる文化に戸惑いながらも、転入生として学校での楽しい生活を過ごします。
To think the person who helped him was Yune? Yes. That's exactly what she did. That's why she dressed up as Yune.
楽しい。そう。明るくて楽しい生活を永遠に続いてほしいと思うくらいの。
I had to fight it. Any further resistance I could muster evaporated under the effect of the muse that I had taken myself. And yet, I hate this. I could forget everything in my life. There's a line that Shu as a person refuses to cross. But I refuse to forget about you, Sakuya. Just then, the light in Sakuya's eyes flickered. Sakuya,
ダメです。ダメなんです。忘れてもらわないと。
What do you mean, forget? Why are you crying, despite trying to convince me otherwise? Why do you look stricken with grief more miserable than I've ever seen you? Sakuya. The name of the woman I must never forget.
今こうしていることも目覚めたらシュウさんは覚えていられません。だから
Please. She said that with tantamount to a final farewell. She said what was tantamount to a final farewell.
私が本当の意味で素直になれるのは今しかないので聞いてほしいです。
Oops.
私が本当の意味で素直になれるのは今しかないので聞いてほしいです。
Her affectionate gaze. A pattern that went far beyond her years. A patience that went far beyond her years. A smile as pure as the Virgin Mary.
シュウさん、
She called my name.
好きです。大好きです。あなたと過ごした日々は私にとってかけがえのない宝物でした。
We finally got the words.
なんだか陳腐な表現しかできませんね。言葉にするのって難しいです。
A forced smile. Glistening tears fell from her eyes, dripping into my cheeks like tiny jewels as I lay there.
シュウさんが好きだったものも嫌いだったものもそうでないものも昨夜は全部覚えています。決して忘れません。シュウさんはとっても素敵な人です。数えきれないくらいの魅力をこの1年で発見しました。だからシュウさんは私のことなんて忘れてください。私なんかが独り占めしていい人じゃありませんから。
Fucking goddamn it. I don't want to forget about you. And I don't care if you keep me all for yourself. That's what I'm saying. I instinctively understood something then. Once I slipped into unconsciousness, I would forget everything from that moment.
ありがとうございます。でも私はシュウさんに許されないことをしました。だからシュウさんも私に命じてください。なんだって聞きます。もう会いたくないならそう言ってほしいです。死ねと言うならシュウさんを生かしてから死にます。
I'd never want that. With the loss of my strength, I clung desperately to consciousness as I cried out. Don't go. All I want is for you to not leave me. Yeah.
ありがとうございます。そう言ってもらえるだけで昨夜は本当に嬉しいです。
If that was true, then why was she crying? I hated myself for not being able to say something that simple.
約束します。私昨夜はずっとシュウさんのそばにいます。離れません。私もうこれ言うのも何度目かわからないのにまだうまく言えなくて。
She shut her lips tight, as if trying to keep her sobs at bay. Her expression of forced resolution looked agonizing, even through my half-conscious vision.
さようなら。ミューズの女神は幻覚を見せる薬ですから。この304日間もきっと幻のようなものなんです。皆さんを救うのに必要だった幻。
Even her face was growing hazy and dreamlike. It was almost time to say goodbye. Oh, and understand. Why? Why can't I move my body? Why can't I do anything when Sakuya looks so sad?
また会えます。もうこんな形じゃなく。
I was on the brink of unconsciousness. She gently covered my eyes with her hand.
その時はきっと先輩って呼んでみせますから。
The last thing I remember is the faint touch of her trembling lips against mine. Flashbang. Oh god. What the fuck did you do to me, Sakuya? I remember everything. The fog covering my memories finally lifts. This dreamlike bond we shared every single time we prayed for a reset. The girl in front of me is crying harder than when we said goodbye.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい、俊先輩。鼻ずっと閉じ込めて。全部忘れさせたりもして。自分勝手なことをして。ごめんなさい。
The air around you's fucking. It was so good, and then the typo. The air around us vibrates with the force of all her pent-up emotions. Her left hand clawing at her chest. The look of pure suffering on her face, as if she might break at any moment. The storm of emotions raging within her paint a mottled pattern of grief. After all those resets, I feel like I'm finally being reunited with Sakuya for the first time. You have nothing to apologize for. You did what you had to in order to save us. She was only able to control both Guido and myself by forcing me to forget everything. It was the only solution she could think of, which is why I can't bring myself to blame her.
そんなことないです。もしかしたら他にもやり方はあったかもしれないのに。
I mean, you know, what is it, like 3,344 days? If she did it every loop, right? That he was fucking mused it out of his mind. That's 11 time loops.
私はシュウ先輩と二人きりで過ごしたくてあんなことをしていたんです。最低なんです。
Crash. I couldn't agree less. I know as well as she does how difficult it is to change the course of fate. Anyone would grow desperate after being forced to relive the same year-long time loop with seemingly no end in sight. On top of that, with two opposed groups having the ability to reset time, it's a miracle we somehow didn't end up splitting off into two paradoxical realities. I mean, you kinda did. But more importantly, I'm really glad I got to share that time with you, Sakuya. I feel that very strongly. If I hadn't made it until today, I might not have been able to remember my past. And I know I would never have wanted that. You once told me that you treasured every day we spent together, and I feel the same way. I know the lengths you went to look out for me so I couldn't, no, so I wouldn't leave. What would you do in Saki's position? What do you mean? Of course, I'm only realizing the reasons behind her actions now. Saki did the best she could with her limited resources, and everything she did was with me in mind. So, why would I be angry? I guess I'll have to live with that. Even so, Saki and I were the only two in this side of the Aurora. No, in the world with the same goal. But sticking close to our partners, Yune and Kido, meant our paths only crossed once. I agree with Shu. The emotions she was forced to hide for so long have built up. There've been times I sensed a deeper meaning behind her actions. But that was simply her attempt at trying her best. I truly love Sakia the way she is now. Not the girl who always diligently watched over me with a faint smile, but this girl who's laying her youthful emotions bare. She relived that interval dozens of times. Once it was established, the chain of events led to success. She had no choice. Well, I didn't remember anything that happened during that time period. Not only was Sakia forced to repeat those 304 days many times over, but she remembered every detail. Sakia's Anna. Well, yeah. Sakia struggles to finish speaking, her soft voice threatening to give out at any moment. Her next words answer my remaining questions I might have had. Any remaining questions I might have had. A genuine, heartfelt prayer from deep in her soul.
どうして学校に通わせてくれたのかなんて、そんなの先輩と普通の恋をしたかったからに決まってるじゃないですか。
Not two people locked in a room. Just two classmates meeting at school. Each word sounds like it's being forced out straight from her heart. Her white breath scatters the falling snowflakes like heated emotions dispersing in the cold air.
兄と先輩の間を取るためにこんな方法を取ったって言いましたけど、本当は先輩と結ばれたらいいなってずっと思ってました。そんなの先輩からしたら迷惑なのに自分勝手でわがままで、さくやはずっとダメな子なんです。
She cries out like she's been crushed under the weight of her own grief. All I want is to draw her close and comfort her. But I can't do that yet. Because I can tell there's still another emotion she needs to vent. Her rage.
でも一回だけ私はそれを叶えたんです。先輩の隣で先輩と並んで他の皆さんも無事で兄もきっと満足して。
The future we once shared. We'd built our own version of Noah's Ark to carry everyone to safety through a hole in the Aurora. Sakuya paved the way for our escape.
うまくいったって思ったのに。
And still, that holy night didn't come to an end. We're here today, forcing us to face an undeniable fact.
でもそうですよね。あのままじゃこの町はなくなっちゃいますし、納得なんてできませんよね。
She mutters under her breath, as if reasoning to herself with herself. Although it's hard to tell who the situation wasn't good enough for.
でも分かってるのにどうしてあの時に終わってくれなかったんですか。
She cries out in uncharacteristic rage. All of this is my fault, and I have to accept it. Her wish had come true once. Then I went and reset time, undoing all the effort she put in. She's right about why, though. She's right about why, too.
私はこんなに先輩のことが好きなのに、先輩は私のことなんてどうでもいいんだ。悔しいですよ、私。バカみたいです。先輩は悪くないって分かってるのに。
The torrent of her unstoppable longing, which she'd held deep inside herself over multiple timelines, is strong enough to break her break even her soul. The reason why I couldn't let it end there was because I still hadn't discovered the truth. It'd be easy enough to say that, but I know she doesn't want my half-baked excuses. Because nothing about this is logical. The only thing I could do now is... Sakuya. Fuck you! Fuck off! Don't make me choose, bitch! Dave. What the fuck? There had to be a choice here. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, there had to be a choice here. Save best girl for last. Alright? Don't might lead to Yune, I'm guessing. Yes. Best girl is Sakuya. Alright? Which means that I should do Yune's first. Yune's the main girl. So? Saki is my main girl. What do you mean? I'm not gonna... Just because you don't like Sakuya because she has big tits doesn't mean that I should pick Yune last. Yune is technically the main girl. Okay. And it makes more sense to follow the guide. Follow the guide? Why? Why do I need to follow the guide? The best answer, the Sakuya route last, alright? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the pain I've caused you. I wanted to show my gratitude for the burden of time she was forced to shoulder, the emotional damage I've caused her. I don't feel the same way about you, which is why I couldn't end things that day. I'm sorry.
そうですよ。先輩はいつも私のこと困らせるんですから。
All I can do now is tell her the truth. Just like she did for me. A real man should be honest with his emotions.
分かってても辛いんです。でも、そういうものですよね。
White lies and half-truths never have the intended effect. The whole truth is best. But I really do appreciate everything you did for me, Sakuya. It's not that I don't care about you, or even that I hate you.
本当ですか？後輩の咲夜とまだ一緒に遊んでくれますか？
Of course. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to attend school here with everyone else.
いいです。許します。
The sight of her usual sulky self peeping out through her tears reassures me that the Sakuya I know is beginning to resurface. You know, trying so hard to be strong and force herself back to normal is almost heartbreaking. My heart already broke like 10 sentences ago. But the best thing I can do in this moment is to respond the way I always do. With bitrate. After about 5 minutes pass. Our friends give us space to collect ourselves, and by the time Sakuya's subside, the snowfall is has slowed considerably. Having calmed down, she looks up at me again. Her eyes are red and puffy from crying, but a part of me wonders if it's also because she'd suppressed her feelings for so long. With me unsure what to say, Saki is the one to break the silence.
でも、いいんです。
It is?
本当はうすうす感づいてたんです。先輩はいつもあの人のことを見てるって。
Yeah, Guido also waited.
舐めないでくださいね。何度も同じ日をやり直した私なんですから、先輩の仕草なんてちょっとの違いもすぐわかります。
Oh god. The earlier statement that she was watching me all along suddenly hits home.
それに、兄さんも、本当私の周りは困った男の人ばかりです。
I could treat you right, Sakuya! Don't...
ということらしいけど、ギド？
俺もまだあまり事態をつかめていないよ。ただ
Sighing heavily, he looks at me and Sakuya. I can see a bit of life in his eyes, albeit faint.
俺の妹君は何か俺に言いたいことがあるらしい。それにシュウも。
So this is what she meant by coming out of the closet. Now that she's been rejected by Shu, she could she could finally admit that she's right. It's true. I came here to stop you, Guido.
琴葉たちと一緒か？
They're here for the same reason. To stop you from flipping the table in anger.
さっき言っていた赤リンゴというやつの話か？
Yeah. Story. But that's right. You've been turning back time and sending Sakuya back with it.
信じるとでも？いや、そういう話ですらないというのか。
I mean, like, you're an idiot to not to not believe your own sister. I am. All we want is to stop you from resetting time. But if you don't believe me, that's fine. But there's something he needs to hear. Guido's innocent prayer, born from his steadfast and unshakable desire, is too pure to be answered by the miraculous apple.
兄さんはさっき祈ろうとしたはずです。 時が戻ればいいって。
なすことも死ぬことも許されない。なら
That's right. He did say that. The thing he'd wished for upon realizing the dream he'd envisioned was out of reach. We know better than anyone what that was.
なら俺が願えばそれが叶うと。
そうです。
It's clear that Guido will always believe his sister over me. I'm not sure what kind of relationship they've got, but if they've been reliving the same time loop together, they must have been cooperating in some way.
まあいい。どうも議論したところで抜け道がなさそうだ。それより結局お前たちは俺にどうしてほしいと言うんだ。
Good question.
元の兄さんに戻ってください。そして生きてください。これからもずっと。
Every time they say I want you to live or I want to live, I just remember Nico and Nico Robin fucking Ennis Lobby.
無理な話だ。今の俺はただの咎人。この場で死ぬしか柊義堂という人間が美しく昇華される方法はない。
Yeah, but like, you didn't blow anyone up this timeline, so you're not a criminal. I think. What did you what what have you done, Guido?
兄さんはバカです。自分で視野を狭めてばかり。
昨夜俺に任せてくれると言ったあれは嘘だったのか。
兄さんの頑固さに呆れてしぶしぶですよ。私が折れなかったら何度でもやり直されるから。
Sakia knew that as long as she fought back against her brother's vision of the apocalypse, time could never return to normal. That's why it was so important to make it seem like she was helping him.
それにさっきも言った通り、私は兄さんが死ぬだなんて話は聞いていません。絶対に嫌です。
俺も昨夜を殺したくはない。だから離れろと言っている。
Oh, he still wants to blow himself up.
いやです。
He's far more He's far more uncompromising. What the fuck is that word? Uncompromising. There it is. Fucking I listen, alright. I Yeah. When talking to Sakia than he was with me.
頑固な妹だ。
Shut up.
それはこっちのセリフです。兄さんより頑固な人なんていません。
Simple. Uncompromising is not a simple word, okay? Fuck you.
この二人、こういう関係だったのか？昨夜がズバズバ物を言うのは前からだけど、いつもと違うね。琴葉先輩と桐江先輩に説得されて、もうやめるってさっきは言ってたじゃないですか。
そうだな。だがそのせいで俺は消えない罪を背負った。この町ごと破壊し、皆殺しにしようとした殺人犯だ。そんな男は死ぬべきだと思わないか？
The dry sound echoes loudly through the snowy sky. Sakuya, her eyes red and puffy with tears, slapped her brother, the mark left by her hand standing out in clear relief on his left cheek. She's never acted this way before. I get the feeling that there's no other timeline where she's slapped her own brother.
兄さんの言う美しさって何ですか？
何？
死ぬことですか？壊すことですか？兄さんの美学はそんなにネガティブなものでしたか？
壊れ散るものにしか見出せない美だ。俺はそれを愛していた。
でも昔の兄さんは違いましたよ。美術回廊で作品を見て真似したり工夫したり、そりゃ兄さんですからバカなこともしてましたけど、たくさん。私はそんな兄さんが好きでした。琴葉先輩たちも一緒のはずです。誰かに入れ知恵されたからって兄さんが変わる必要なんてない。凛花さんに嫉妬してたのなら自分でそれを上回る作品を考えられたはずなんです。それが本当の自分の限界を破壊するってことなんじゃないですか？凛花さんがこれまでにない作品を作ったみたいに。兄さんの見た失楽園がどれだけ素晴らしい作品だったのか私にはわかりません。でもそれを真似してより大きな作品にしたところですでにある美しさしか生まれないんじゃないですか。
Cross's Lost Paradise is a painting of the accident that destroyed the first town. Just like how man-made snow can never look entirely real, attempts to artificially recreate chance events will always contain irregularities.
わかった。もういい。琴葉にも切り絵にも説教されて耳にタコができそうだ。俺はもうアポカリプスを諦めている。大罪を犯したと自覚している。だから
逃げようとするんですか？卑怯ですよ、そんなの。それに兄さんらしくなさすぎます。
He'd rather die than live with his failure. Sakuya decries this choice. This choice of his as nothing more than running away. I mean, true.
兄さん、それなら私はまだ時を戻してやり直したいって願う方が兄さんらしいと思ったから、犠牲者を出さないようにって協力してたんです。
I mean, like, the person who knows Sakuya best is Geto best is fucking Sakuya. She's technically older than Geto by like twice his age, so.
でも本当は昔みたいに誰にも応援されなくても頑張る兄さんが見たかったんです。
昨夜
いいじゃないですか。美しくなくても兄さんの作る作品が美しければいいのであって、兄さん自身が美しく散る必要なんてどこにもありません。
Well, yeah, that's what he's trying to do with his own body by blowing himself up and covering everyone around him in blood and guts, and even someone like Geto, one of the oldest people here, can do nothing but stare blankly at the ground while being chastised by his own sister. For Sakuya, the thought of her brother committing suicide is her biggest trigger of all. It's far more than just giving up and escaping. No matter how abhorrent his cataclysmic vision might have been, as long as he continued creating art, he could follow his dream of being an artist. Despite her love for him, seeing her brother in this state is simply too much. And yet, no matter how fed up with him she may be, she can't bring herself to abandon her own brother in this time of need. In his time of need.
ギド、私も昨夜と同じだよ。君はそんな簡単に逃げ出していい人間じゃないだろう。
だが俺は
取り返しのつかないことをした。確かにそうだよ。でもだからって君のデーモンは生きるのを諦めるようなやつだった？罪を背負い生き続けること、それが君にとって唯一の許される道なんじゃないのかな。
このまま生きろと。
君が死んだらもう誰も君のことを許さないだろう。でも君がこれから先償い続けるというのなら、いずれ許される時が来るのかもしれない。
償うか。俺としてはそれが許される域でもないと思っているのだがな。
そうだね。確かに君はいくら謝っても奉仕しても許されるはずはないと思う。でもギド、君には決して他の人にはできないやり方があるだろう。
An unforgivable sin. A possible way to atone for such a cross. To atone for such a cross that cannot be borne by one man alone.
君がもし犯した罪を、その懺悔を作品で表現できるなら、それはきっと何よりの償いになるはずだ。遠い道のりかもしれない。だけど私は君にならできるって信じてる。私の知ってる義道なら、たとえどんなに重い罪でも。
The guilt that sprouted within him. Kotaha wants him to use that as inspiration for his work. She thinks it's the only way Guido could ever atone for his sins. But it is also the cruelest form of punishment.
だから作り続けるんだ、君は。この町のみんなが許すまで何年かかっても。
Would God forgive Guido? God would forgive Guido if he truly repents for his sins. As in, you know, if he regrets it.
俺の罪を表現しろと。
そうだよ。君の反省を、そして贖いをはっきりと形にして伝えるんだ。義道はそれができる人間なんだから。
Damn. Fucking... Fucking... Ah! There you go. Providing form to shapeless concepts, or perhaps a potentially eternal journey to repentance. According to Kotaha, all he can do is carry his cross as he walks his endless path.
それに、ほら、昨夜だってもう腹を決めているようだし。
何？
Guido isn't the only one who's taken Kotaha's word to heart. I heard somewhere in Catholicism that you can neither be in hell or heaven. Is just a thing like in the middle. No? I mean, look, purgatory exists in some forms of in some tellings of the Bible, right? But you know, most of the time you're either subjected to heaven or hell. It is the 7 layers of heaven and hell. That's Divine Comedy. All right. That isn't the original retellings. That is the poem. Fuck, what was it called again? It is the poem by Dante Alighieri, right? And it's Divine Comedy. That's what it's called. It's basically just Dante, right? Is given the chance to go through the 7 layers of hell, right? And then, right? He is fuck, what was it again? There's him going through the 7 layers of hell, right, which is Dante's Inferno, right? And then you've got Dante's Purgatorio, which is purgatory, which is what you're talking about, right? Of the not really heaven, not really hell thing. And then you've got Paradiso, which is him going through the 7 layers of heaven, right? It's a good poem, right? But you know, there's some things in Dante's Inferno that are very much just him complaining about people who wronged him, like went as so is there a media that goes into this? Yeah. Wendigoon has made videos about Dante's Inferno. Well, not just Dante's Inferno, but Paradiso and for a book or something, send me. Yeah, he also talks about Paradiso and Purgatorio. This is the best way to do it, right? Links, please. I'll put it in media share. Yeah. This playlist has other videos from Wendigoon about the Bible and shit, because he's a Christian and all, but you know, I always found these fascinating even in school. I mean, look, I've gotten to the point where the original retelling of the Bible got boring. All right, listen, every fucking Saturday, my mom took me to church, and I would keep hearing the same fucking Bible verses from the people on the stage, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, pun intended. How do people sit through this shit every week for like 50 fucking years and not get bored of hearing the same Bible verses? Like, you know, it got repetitive, let's just say. Guido wasn't the only one who's taken Kotaha's words to heart. The girl standing next to him is also burdened with guilt she cannot escape from.
もちろん、私も兄さんに加担した身として許される存在ではありません。私も私なりに贖罪のやり方を見つけます。
Yeah, and if it listen, in the way she can atone for being complicit in her brother's crimes, if this was in Sakuya's route, the way she could do it is through satisfying Shu's needs, and then in Yune's route, she can atone for her sins by watching Yune satisfy Shu's needs. Are there movies like animated visuals? I mean, maybe. I don't know. She was a part of it. Yes, she was.
なんでお前まで。
当たり前じゃないですか。ダメ兄さんに肩入りしたダメ妹なんて許されるはずないに決まってます。兄さんと同じトガ人なんです。
Yeah, but she can get away with it because she has titties. I mean, isn't that technically what you're doing if you go down her route? Saki only did what she did to save the townspeople while appeasing her brother. Still, the fact that she was involved in at all makes her feel incredibly guilty.
でもですよ。私はもうやり直したいなんてこれっぽっちも思っていません。
Do you really get a choice if Guido's the one, essentially, if Guido's the one who can turn back time? Well, allow you to, I guess.
私はもうすべてをやりきりました。伝えたいことも伝えました。これ以上やり直すなんて考えられません。悔いはないんです。あの時に戻れたらなんてもう思いたくない。
But guess what? At least now we'll be able to see the gift that Shu is meant to give, that Shu wanted to give Yune on her Christmas birthday. It is her birthday. I forgot that it's her birthday. Happy birthday, Kotaha. Happy birthday, Yune.
これからはちゃんと前を向いて歩いていきたいので。
After hearing such honest reactions from his closest friends and his sister, saying one of the layers is full of ice. Yeah. I forgot how it went. But, like, I forgot if it was the first layer or, like, the 9th layer where hell is completely frozen over, right? Because if you think about it intuitively, right, you'd think it'd get hotter the further you go down, because the further you go down is getting closer to the devil, right? But like, how did it go again? Because you understand, right? Each layer in Dante's Inferno represented one of the 7 sins, right? And then there were 2 others, right? God damn it. Which were Yes. God damn it. The 9th circle holds the souls of those who were guilty of treachery or betrayal. All of the souls in the 9th circle are submerged in ice, but there are 4 layers. Those who committed the worst betrayals are deeper within the ice. Yes. Listen. There's a reason why Wendigoon's video is an hour 30 fucking minutes talking about only Inferno. Right, that his Purgatorio video and his Paradiso video are similar lengths. All right, I cannot explain all of the shit. So, you know, it's better if you just watch Wendigoon's videos. After hearing such honest emotions from his closest friends and his sister.
これは参った。なあ、本当に。
God damn it. Kira suddenly bursts into peals of laughter.
自分がいかに身の程知らずか、そしてかっこ悪いかを思い知らされた。それでもなお、生きろと言うんだな。
当たり前です。かっこ悪い自分を自覚して生きるから罰なんですよ。人様に迷惑かけてから満足げに行くとかありえません。
まったくだよ。人前で脱ぐのは平気なくせに、今さら美しく散ろうなんて勝手すぎ。
Excuse me?
なあ、 悪かったよ。俺は今までもこれからも美しくなんてある必要はない。そして俺はまた表現すべきものができた。こうも罪深き己にこんな幸福があっていいのか。同輩にも後輩にも妹にも叱ってもらえる俺は果報者なのかもしれないな。それだけに特級の愚か者だが。
About to say they walk away and he blows himself. Blows himself up. Yes, I don't think he can blow himself.
やっと目覚めたか。つか、なんで昨夜にはそんな素直なんだよ。仕方ないよ、キリエ。兄弟だもの。いや、つうかそれ未だに信じらんねえんだけど、全然似てねえし。
そうだろうか。性格なんかは似てるんじゃないか。
I mean, yeah, but that's the only thing.
似てるはずありません。いきなり食堂で脱ぎ出すような兄に憧れる要素ゼロです。
But, yeah. Listen, just because I picked Yune's route doesn't mean I would be opposed to it, though. She's pretty harsh. Although Guido has no problem picking on his own flaws.
シュウ、キリエ、コトハ。この場だけで済ませられるものではないが、本当に悪かった。そして、ありがとう。
No problem. Another failed sentence by him. Yes. What? Another failed sentence.
俺はこれからも贖罪を続けていく。だからお前たちにはそばで見守っていてほしい。シュウと昨夜の言う時を巡る存在とやらは未だによくわからないから、後で説明はしてもらいたいが。
Listen, if you still don't understand it, there's no point in them talking about it anymore. It's irrelevant at this point. Of course, but it's basically just what I told you before. I'm worried that the more honest I am with the whole situation, the more ridiculous it might sound. Just then. Huh? I suddenly hear the sound of footsteps running toward us. I turn and recognize the source immediately.
シュウさん、こちらにいましたか。
What a pleasant surprise. Sister Lily, what's wrong? I assumed she was still with Yune, but her apparent hurry puts me on high alert.
先ほどユネさんが苦しそうにして姿を消しました。部屋に戻っているのかと思いましたが、いませんでした。
Huh? Just because we picked her out doesn't mean that the game can force me into picking Saokias.
そこで、いえ、余計な説明をしている時間はなさそうですね。こちらを。
What do you... Hey, that's my cell phone. This is my cell phone.
すでに通話がつながっています。お話しください。
Oh, to whom exactly? Fucking Leela. I can't keep up with this sudden turn of events. I understand that I'm on a call with someone, but it seems kind of ridiculous that someone would get in touch with me knowing I don't have my cell. Who could possibly be calling me? And why does Sister Lily seem so concerned by such a simple question?
時を巡るアンナからです。
You gotta be fucking kidding me. She grimaces like she just swallowed a bug. Anna, what exactly do you mean, Sister Lily? Well, I guess we'll find out what she means next time. God, what a long... that was longer than I expected. And we still aren't even out... We're still in the main story. What do you mean, what the fuck? Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, a follow would be appreciated. And if you want to support me even further, you could always subscribe. You know, if you want to support me even further by giving me some money, maybe I can use it. That's on Academy. What happened? I forgot. Oops. Yep. I have work on Thursday. 2 in a row. But, either way, if you like to follow me, appreciate it. And if you want to support me even further, you could always subscribe. But, until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. And I will see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.